What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the morning movie chat right here on the Second Street Marvel. I am your host, Trinity. Thank you all so much for being here today. I hope you're all having a very good day. Here we are on Tuesday already, and man, seems like we've got quite a few things to talk about today. Now, before we really get into that, I just want to let you all know, in case you would like, all of these live streams that I do here on the channel are thanks to all of my Patreon supporters. There are links down in the description if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter. Again, it's nothing required. I'm always here flapping my gums and going on about stuff that I pretend to know about anyway. So thank you all for being here, and thank you to all of the Patreon supporters that we do have out there in the world. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. Now, today, we do got several things to talk about in case you guys missed it. Marvel did obviously drop the Morbius trailer yesterday, and then we also got a Black Widow special look as well that dropped actually during some collegiate football game yesterday. I honestly wouldn't know. I stopped watching foosball a while back, and I was never really into watching college ball anyway. But Dylan's Comic Book Rants, thank you so much for being here. So yeah, we got a couple things that we're going to talk about today, including the Morbius trailer and the Black Widow trailer as well. And actually, they're calling it a special look, not a trailer. So hey, I don't know. I guess we'll see exactly what that's all about. But one thing I wanted to get right off the top before I really get into much more was I'm not sure if you guys caught yesterday's show, but yesterday morning, I started off the show talking about these Captain Marvel 2, writer, rumors that are going around there, and I went back to put some cards, the little info cards on that video, and I just wanted to issue an apology to entertainment hacker and Josiah Rises, because I started off the show kind of going a little bit hard about these clickbait articles that are out there, and I was realizing as I was watching it that my God, kind of sounds like I'm it kind of sounds like I'm being mean and talking trash about Entertainment Hacker and Josiah Rises, and that was not my intention. My only intention was in showing that these sources, the only sources that story about the Captain Marvel 2 writer was coming from, were just clickbait articles. I didn't. I realized I was sitting there watching. I'm like, man, it sounds like I'm talking bad about Entertainment Hacker and Josiah Rises, which I don't know Josiah Rises. I don't watch his content or anything, but I do watch Entertainment Hacker every now and again, and he's an okay guy. I just wanted to say right off the top that I do apologize for that if that sounded like I was coming at them or throwing any shade their way. That really wasn't the case. Just I was only merely remarking on the sources that they had out there for those for that story. And what's kind of funny about that story as well is I actually seen your boy Zach. I know that not everybody likes your boy Zach, but I was watching his channel yesterday. I noticed he did a video talking about the exact same thing about the Captain Marvel writer not being Kelly Sue DeConnick. It's nothing that's been announced by Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, or anything like that. So I just wanted to get that right off the top, okay? So, if you're out there watching this John Paul Rye, hey, I wasn't talking trash about you. I was just merely remarking on this story that you had run with. And I actually seen that he did a retraction story, I believe, even before yesterday's stream, talking about he realized that that he was informed that story was fake and basically from a clickbait site. So again, I just wanted to say that I wasn't talking trash about Entertainment Hacker. Like I said, I think he's an okay guy. Okay, let's see. We got Dylan's Comic Book Rants here, Two Brothers Comics, Zulu Entertainment, Snow Dub Music and Entertainment says Jenner check. Yeah, man. Snow Dub, absolutely great. Kermit the Log, love this dude as well. Hashtag Cotton Connection. Black Hat Cinephile says Leto's Morbius looks watchable. Curious about Keaton in it. Yes, definitely. We'll go ahead and get into that in just a minute. Perry Comics, thank you so much for being here. Fanjecture, Stacy's Fat Stacks, thank you all so much for being here. Now, one of the other things I will mention, I do see Fanjecture is here once again. Guys, make sure if you're here watching my show, go to Fanjecture's channel. Fanjecture, please feel free to drop your channel link down there in the comments below. Go check out his channel that he's got going on over there. Tonight he should be doing a live stream where he's doing like some interactive like movie trivia conversations, kind of things like that. So the more people the merrier. In case you guys don't know, one thing I say here all the time is you guys, the audience, are who make these live streams. You guys you guys, kind of give us things to talk about, interacting with us, and things like that. Just in the chats, really does help make a lot of these live streams a lot funner. And what they're doing over there at Fanjecture is kind of what will make that show be a lot funner. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into the stories. As Black Hat Cinephile has said, we did get that Morbius. I mean, Marvel was just giving us, just nothing but goodness yesterday. Now, sure, it was from different studios. We got Sony Studios here, and then we also have. Let me see if I can. Let me know how the sound is, guys. Sometimes I feel like I've got my gain and everything turned up a little bit too high. So let me know how that sounds for you guys. Okay, so we did get it from two different studios. We got some from Sony Studios. Then later at night, we got some from Marvel Studios. And I'm telling you guys, whew, what a day it was yesterday, was it not? I mean, we start off the morning with that wonderful trailer for Morbius. Morbius the Living Vampire, which they're actually doing a little mini-series in Marvel Comics right now. I read the first issue. I wasn't really into it, but I'm not really big into like the whole vampire, zombie thing. That's just not really my thing. But I gotta tell you, I think the trailer looks good. It was pretty fire, and I gotta say, I'm not really hyped to see the movie. I mean, I'm gonna go see it. It looks good, and I myself, I'm not a big Jared Leto fan. I'm not sure about how you guys feel about Jared Leto, but let me know down in the comments below. Do you like Jared Leto? Do you like his movies? Do you like him as an actor? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Because I do think, I mean, he's a good actor. I mean, he's in plenty of movies where you can go out there and check out his work, and he's actually in a band as well. Guy was like 30 Seconds to Mars. I think that's it. Is that it? No. Hoobastank. Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those bands. It all sounds the same to me. Hoobastank, Tube Steak, whatever. But yeah, okay, Fanjecture says it's at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, make sure you guys go check out Fanjecture's channel there. And Julie from Wish to Plano Vlog, thank you so much for being here. So yeah, we did get this trailer for Morbius, and I gotta tell you, like this trailer looks like it's actually done pretty good. And I know a lot of people out there have their feelings about how they feel, when it comes to Sony Pictures and the movies that they do. And this is something I was actually even covering yesterday. Is guys, we got to remember that Sony Pictures, they helped pave the way for what we're getting out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe these days. I mean, sure, there was them and there was Fox, who originally, in the late 90s, here in the early 2000s, they're the ones that kind of laid the foundation for what would eventually be the MCU. And let's not forget, Kevin Feige was involved in the original, Fox movies. He might have been somewhat involved with all of them. Well, maybe except for the later ones when he was doing Marvel Studios. But yeah, so there's that. Like, I think Sony has done a great job, even with the Spider-Man movies. I mean, sure, there's like 2 5 that they done that aren't the best movies, but you still got to think that they are like the producers. They own this character. They're the ones playing ball with Marvel Studios. So I trust Sony to go out there and make movies. You can go back and even watch the Venom movie, and the Venom movie was actually a pretty good movie. It's not for everybody. Not everybody liked it. It does seem a little bit silly that they went out there and did a movie like this without Peter Parker being in it, without Spider-Man. Because if you know the origins of the story, that's kind of how it back. Okay. Dang you, YouTube and OBS. Is it OBS or is it YouTube? So yeah, like I said, with the Morbius trailer, I am pretty excited to see. I'm not like overly hyped to see the Morbius movie. Again, not one of my favorite characters out there in the Marvel world, and matter of fact, I don't really know a whole lot about the character. But I've got to say, this movie looks like they're doing a pretty good job here, getting this movie ready. Jared Leto looks like he is going to be a great, yeah, goddamn internet monster. Yeah, it's been pretty bad and like I said, I got a technician coming out today to give it all a look. But yeah, this Morbius trailer, I thought it was pretty good. Considering I don't like the whole vampire stuff. I'm not really into all that. Like, to me, like, some of the best vampire stuff was the Lost Boys back in the '80s. I thought that was a good movie, but I'm not really into all of the just all of the vampire stuff. But this movie looks like it's gonna be pretty good. Jared Leto looks like he fits the role pretty good. And then not only that, let's talk about this, guys. We get Michael Keaton in this trailer. And how are you guys feeling about Michael Keaton being in this trailer? What do you guys think? Do you think he's playing Adrian Toomes? Do you think he's playing somebody else? What could all of this mean? I mean, heck, that's universes crossing over, right? Hmm, just some very interesting things going on there. But yeah, I think obviously one of the things that they even say during the trailer, through the course of the trailer, is from the studio who brought you Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home and Venom. Okay, now we got to remember that these things are owned by Sony, so naturally it would only seem natural that they can have these crossover characters in there. I mean, they own the rights to Vulture and all of those things. Now, the thing that I would think that they would do when making this movie would possibly be to maybe consult with Kevin Feige and be like, okay, like what could we do and could we not do to somewhat so we don't ruin anything that has happened in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that can still play into our universe. So if they ever come to a point where they're not going to play ball anymore, where they can still kind of carry on with some of those storylines and what they've done over there in the MCU, because we know that they can't really reference anything from the MCU in the Sony movies without permission from Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios. So I think there's a whole lot of conversation to be going on there. Now I think like I said, Sony owns the character, but they can do what they want. They just can't really reference anything that happened in the MCU. However, they probably could reference some of it, because while they probably can't say Tony Stark or Iron Man or anything like that, they could always, Peter Parker could be in there and just talking about Tony, and that's really all he has to say. It doesn't have to go down to him mentioning Stark or anything like that, because like I said, Tony is the character, of course, but that's still only referencing, not necessarily playing on the Iron Man character or anything like that. So I think there's definitely some interesting things here. But what do you guys think? Obviously, I think he's going to be playing Adrian Toomes. It would only seem not very smart for them to put Michael Keaton in this movie and not have him play Vulture. It just seems to be it would be brushing off what they've already done in conjunction with Marvel Studios. But then what could it be? What could it be that Morbius is doing there with Adrian Toomes? Right? Because what does Adrian Toomes have? For the most part, it seems like Adrian Toomes was. It seems like Adrian Toomes was actually largely setting out and kind of going out and getting a lot of like these Stark tech and tech that the Avengers were coming up with and things like that. That they were the damage control was rounding up from all of the things that had happened. Kermit the Log, thank you so much for the super chat, greatly appreciated. Thank you for the $2. Greatly appreciate that. Kermit the Log is a great puppet out there in the world of YouTube entertainment. You guys should make sure that you go check out Kermit the Log's channel. And hey guys, is it just me or did I miss the Ribbit and Bigot show on Saturday? I may have missed the Ribbit and Bigot show on Saturday, but yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing this Morbius movie. I do think this movie will be pretty good. And hey, I trust in Sony. Do I trust in them to make the best movie? Absolutely not, because they haven't they haven't earned that. But I do think they've done pretty good production wise from a lot of the movies they have made for sure. Um, Black Hat Cinephile says, "I'm hearing sounds, loud noises." Yeah, gosh dang internet monster. Black Hat Cinephile says, I left it on so I'd hear if it came back. Nice. I'm True Skills. How are you doing this morning? Hope you're doing well. Snowdub Music and Entertainment says, I have Morbius, number one Morbius. I might have to dust it off and do a review. You know what, Snowdub? You actually should. Dust that puppy off, man. Pull it out the plastic, give it a read, and bring us a review, man. Certainly, and I can guarantee you at this point, it'll bring a whole lot of clicks because everybody wants to talk about Morbius now. It's cool to like Morbius now. A Duda review says, did Morbius have that sonar power in the comics? I gotta be honest with you, Duda. I don't know. I'm not big on Morbius. I'm not big on the vampires and all that stuff. So I honestly don't know about that. Maybe Snowdub says he has a comic, so you might want to check with him. Or you could even, I could expect that you could go to Comics Explained Rob over there, Rob Jefferson, seems to do a really good job in breaking down comic books. I'm sure if you like comic books or are interested in that kind of stuff, you probably already watch him. But I could imagine that if he don't have a video up already, he's probably going to have one coming up in the very near future. As got to kind of trace trending topics. So yeah, but I'm not for sure if he had that sonar power in the comics or not. Perry Comics says, "I'm back. Is it better?" I hope so. Black Cat Cinephile says, "Bat Bird Vulture Man. Yes, yes. Where does he get those wonderful toys?" I was waiting for him to say that in Spider-Man Far From or Homecoming, because I thought that at any point it could have actually made a pretty good line. Like it plays really well in referencing, Batman '89, and it also would have played well in everything that was going on in the movie as well. I'm True Skills says they are going to treat the Sony Spider-Man universe like the Netflix one. As far as what exactly do you mean there? I am True Skills. I don't think so. I mean, you mean like as far as how the Netflix one kind of sort of references the MCU but not directly. I'm guessing that's what you mean. I could imagine that. I mean, because like I said, Sony owns all those characters that were in, basically in Far From Home. I mean, as a matter of fact, they pretty much own everything that was in that movie, with the exception of Tony Stark and Iron Man. So like everything else in there, they own all those rights to. Vulture, even in Far From Home with Mysterio and all that stuff, they own those characters. So really, I mean, it's essentially that's their universe in the first place. It just happens to be involved in the MCU. So I mean, they could reference all of it, everything except for actual stuff from the MCU. But of course, there's always ways to kind of sidestep those things. Perry Comics says, a dude reviews, yeah, he had the sonar. Okay, he did. Okay. A dude review says he's definitely Vulture in this. If he isn't, then that would be crazy. Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree too. I just remember seeing some of the conversations yesterday saying, "Hey, is he actually playing Adrian Toomes?" And it's like, come on, of course he is. Of course he's playing Adrian Toomes. It'd be ridiculous for him not to be. Um, let's see. Okay, Kermit the Log says it was a football weekend. Yeah, and I forgot we're in the playoffs, so there's games going on Saturdays and Sundays currently. So yeah, but next time, Kermit, Jolly, I want to see you guys doing a live stream together, getting drunk and watching football. All right. If not, we're canceling the puppets and we're all becoming puppet phobes. Snowdub says at Second Street Marvel, the Ribbit and Bigot show was canceled because of the football games. Back on the football canceled. The Ribbit and Bigot show. I don't believe that, man. I don't believe that. I don't think the NFL is strong enough to do that. The Ribbit and Bigot show is bigger than the devil. A dude review says Comics Explained is great. Yes, yeah, Comics Explained is good, man. He knows his stuff, He definitely knows his stuff. Snowdub Music and Entertainment says possible new puppet horror movie review starting this Thursday, right, Kerm? Ooh, that'll be great because the puppets definitely know their horror movies. Snowdub Music and Entertainment says, yes, I believe Morbius has a sonar like bat power. He gets a lot of bat type of his senses. Okay, yeah, I kind of figured he did, but again, I don't really know a whole lot about that character because it's one I never, like I said, I'm not really into the whole zombies or even vampire stuff. Of course, I dropped a review this morning. It was a fairly long review. I had a big fat stack of, right here. I had this big stack of independent comics that I had to get and do some reviews on, so I went ahead and did that, and it ended up being about an hour long. So, is that bad? I'm paranoid about my internet connection now. So, yeah. So make sure you go check out that review, and I'm gonna be working on getting some timestamps in that review, so if you don't want to watch it all, because let's face it, nearly an hour is a long time, because I think it ended up being like 55, 56 minutes, something like that. So yeah. But yeah, Vampire State Building is one of the comics I did, and like I said, I'm not really into the vampire stuff, but Vampire State Building is a very cool comic book. It's actually done by the same artist who did the Walking Dead comic book series as well. So all that down and out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the other greatness that Marvel Studios brought us yesterday with Black Widow. Did you guys watch that Black Widow trailer? It wasn't even listed as a trailer; they're calling it a special look. It actually dropped yesterday during I think it was like they gave a little special look during the halftime of the football game. I'm guessing the actual trailer part of it probably dropped in between the third and fourth quarters. I honestly don't know because I don't have ESPN and I don't watch college football especially. Um, but yeah, this Black Widow trailer, this new Black Widow trailer, it looks pretty good. Everything that's in there, but didn't give us gave us a lot of new stuff, just some new scenes. Nothing really, no real revelations here for the movie from what we really got in the last trailer. But there was definitely some more action scenes. We definitely got to see a lot more Taskmaster. And how are you guys feeling about Taskmaster? Let me know down in the comments below. How do you feel about Taskmaster? What do you think about the look? And do you think and who do you think this is? You know, like, who's playing Tony Masters, or is it Tony Masters at all? Is the Marvel Cinematic Universe gonna take that character and change him into somebody else? Is it gonna be Tony Masters, Toni, like Tony? You know, like, is it gonna be a female Taskmaster that we're getting? Ooh, I can already hear people. I can already hear people with their woke agenda videos getting ready to come up. But yeah, a lot of the things that we see here, there are a few particular things I would like to point out, but I don't have all of the. I don't believe I have all of the images open for my. Let me see if I can open some of these images here and get them on screen. Um, let's see, because there are a lot of. Oh man, yeah, it's gonna take a while. There's a lot of things that we see in this trailer where we see there's like it opens up with a sniper on a rooftop, you know, and then we kind of see just throughout the trailer different snipers there in the area. Obviously, this is at a point in the movie where they are tracking down, trying to get Black Widow, and obviously probably Yelena Belova as well, trying to bring them in, you know, assassinate them or kill them for whatever reason. And the one thing that I did want to bring up is I think some of that actually has to do with there's a particular little scene there where Yelena Belova and Natasha Romanoff are having a conversation in their little apartment towards the beginning, and Black Widow pulls out these well, I guess they're all Black Widow, right? I guess I can't really say that. Where Natasha pulls out these little like red glowy things out of her pocket and says that she's being hunted or she's wanted or whatnot. She's got these. She pulls out these little capsules that have like this red liquid in it. You know, this red stuff in there. And the thing is I'm wondering what exactly these are. I think it has some sort of serum or something to do with maybe keeping the Black Widow operatives either brainwashed or keep them under some sort of control. Because later we see in the other trailers, like, I think we even seen it in the first trailer and then even in this one, when we go to the Red Room where all the Black Widow operatives are being trained, they have these bands on their arm that have this red glowy stuff on them, which I'm guessing is this exact same thing. Okay, now something else I want to bring up is that along with that is that it was said by Kevin Feige at some point that some of, like, he didn't say all of it, but he said that some of the events, and I'm paraphrasing here, do take place after, you know, between Civil War and Infinity War. So there's that window in there, and there's a whole lot of things that are happening here with this. Now, one of the things, in case you don't remember Civil War, at the very beginning, they were going on that facility there. And you know, that was attacked by Rumlow and all of his basically all of his old former strike force. They were there to get this biological weapon, right? And they were saying that, hey, if we got to be careful with it because it could level the town. Well, that don't necessarily mean that it's a bomb or anything. You know, at one point I was even hypothesizing that red stuff that they were after in Captain America Civil War was actually could be the Pym particle, because that could be a biological weapon. I mean, you drop enough of that, I mean, you could shrink down a whole bunch of stuff. or who knows what it could be without the control of just being in somewhat of a controlled environment. So, but if you go back and you check out, I know a lot of people don't read a lot of the comics that come out for these movies. They have like these MCU tie-ins, and there's actually one getting ready to come out this Wednesday at your local comic book shop of the Black Widow movie. A Black Widow, these MCU tie-in books, and there's one coming out this weekend. But they did some before Captain America: Civil War that came out, and I don't even think it was one of the ones that necessarily was the movie tie-in, but they did one that was a prequel to that called I can't remember what it was. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it was on. You can find it on Marvel Unlimited, and basically what they were calling that stuff, that that liquid or whatever that they were after, that biological weapon, they were calling it the Zodiac, is what they were calling it in that comic book. It was an Infinity book, called Zodiac, and because there was a facility where they were there actually just trying to protect it and make sure that it didn't fall into the hands of whoever was after it, and it was something called Zodiac. And I haven't really been able to dig up a whole lot about this Zodiac stuff. I mean, there are references to it in the Marvel comics apparently, but nothing that would really play to what happened in the MCU, with any of that aside from this one comic. So some very interesting things going on here. Now, we do know that there is a lot of, and it's funny because there was actually a scene also in the trailer where it looked like there was a figure in there that looked very much like he was dressed like the Winter Soldier. The one from the Captain America Winter Soldier, where he had like the straps that went across his chest and those things like that. But the arm, of course, was not silver, like the Winter Soldiers is. But that's the kind of stuff that's easily all changed in in the trailers, stuff that they do to fool us. So just some different things to think about right there. I'll hop back here into the chat before we continue a little bit more about the Black Widow movie. Aggressively Relaxing says, I can't wait to see Morbius suck plasma with his hands. Right? A dude review says he loves his plasma. Yes, definitely. I wonder what his T cell count is like. And I always kind of wondered that. What if a vampire sucked the blood of an AIDS victim? And not to, not to, make fun of people with AIDS or anything like that, but I always kind of wondered, like, what would happen there? Do they have a purification system in their teeth and their fangs or whatnot whenever they go to suck blood? Nah, I don't know. It just seems a little odd to me. I always kind of wondered that. It's kind of one of those deep thoughts by Jack Handy. You know what I mean? Black Hat Cinephile says X-Men had a Quicksilver and Avengers had a Quicksilver, but Fox and Disney had to make different Quicksilvers, though it was the same Quicksilver in the comics. Right, yeah, agreed. And and I gotta tell you, I actually liked Fox's Quicksilver. And I gotta be honest, I like the MCU's Quicksilver as well. What I don't like as much is the MCU's Spider-Man. That's just hashtag not my Spider-Man. Come on, I mean, it's funny because Young Ripper was actually did a video talking about that yesterday as well, but yeah, the MCU Spider-Man isn't exactly my favorite Spider-Man out there. To me, the perfect Spider-Man is kind of a blend of Tobey's Spider-Man, of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and even Tom Holland's. Like all of those, like take all of those, combine and mash them together. Do one of those things, and that is your perfect Spider-Man right there. A little bit of elements of all of them. Let's see. Fanjecture says, here's my thoughts on the Black Widow trailer. It was fine. I'm already going to see it, and I have interest in the movie, but it didn't raise my expectations, but it didn't lower them either. Yeah, it didn't raise my expectations at all, and it certainly didn't lower them. If anything, it only gives me more to talk about, because I'm hyped to see this movie anyway. I like Black Widow. I like the character. Definitely has become one of my more favorite characters in the comic books as of last year when the Soska sisters did the No Restraints Play storyline, which I think would be absolutely great, which is something that's interesting. Very, very interesting. I want to talk to you all about here in just a minute. I'm not sure if you guys have heard me flap my gums constantly about the No Restraints Play storyline and things like that, but we'll get into that in just a minute. I Am True Skill says, I heard it was a woman. Yeah, it could be. Taskmaster easily could be. I mean, it wouldn't be a surprise. But again, I don't think they're gonna go that route. But they could. They might go that route. Aggressively relaxing says college football is the best. When NFL player breaks his legs, he goes to a doctor. But in college ball, that person's life is over. The stakes are so much higher. Yes, indeed, very much indeed. A fan Jexter says, I just really hope it's not Rachel Weisz. That just seems too on the nose. Yeah, I thought the exact same thing too. Is that I was kind of thinking that too. Like, what if that Taskmaster is actually Rachel Weisz's character? Um, that would be pretty crazy because we can see obviously that this version of Taskmaster is either Red Room trained or is the person who is doing all the training in the Red Room of all the Black Widow operatives because they move just alike, they fight just alike, they know each other's moves, just like we seen in the first trailer with Yelena and Natasha going at it. They have the same moves. They're obviously playing on this angle a whole lot. And let's not also forget that in the very first hints that we get of the Red Room in Avengers: Age of Ultron, we see that she was actually there training and fighting. With all the ballet stuff that was going on there, but we seen that she got put in a chokehold by somebody that had a whole lot of tattoos on him and looked like to be somewhat of a bigger kind of buff guy. So maybe that was the person that was actually doing the training for them there. We also had that mysterious figure kind of hanging around in the background, going all. What was that show? A show. Do you believe? The X Files. The man with the cigarette that was hanging out there in the background, kind of hanging out, watching everybody. We also did see that as well. But let's also not forget, in that same scene that Black Widow was sitting there, with her target training, there was that guy sitting there in the suit that had got shot. It looked like she was shooting in the head. Now, these were all flashback memories, and there's a lot more to be said about those memories and how it kind of plays into some of the other stuff that I've been talking about here on the channel. But yeah, I hope it's not Rachel Weisz's character, but for some reason, I have a feeling that Rachel Weisz's character is not necessarily a good guy and is not necessarily on their side. I could be wrong there because there's in these kind of like spy espionage kind of movies, there's always some double crossing going on here, and who knows? Maybe it's the Red Guardian. Maybe he's a character that's actually going to go out there and maybe he's the one that's double crossing him. Who knows? I don't think so, but that's just me. Sir Nerd a lot. Hello, how are you doing today? Black Cat Cinephile says in the first Ant Man, it turned people into goo. That was the little gun that Carson. No, not Carson Mitchell, but that was the little gun that. Why did I forget his name all of a sudden? That was the little gun that he had that he was using to shoot people and turn them into goo. So yeah, definitely. Moira Kitty, thank you so much for being here. The Lonely Banter says, I like how you forgot about me. Second. Oh man, I did completely forget, dude. I'm the worst. I'm the worst, dude. I actually feel bad now because I did forget about that. I guess I woke up a little bit late this morning, getting the kids ready for school and everything, but I did completely forget about that because I was so excited about Black Widow and all that stuff. Dang it. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Or Thursday. Maybe Thursday. Maybe Thursday we'll bring LB on. Dang it. I completely forgot about that. Man. I would say you should have messaged me, but that's my responsibility and getting you on because I'm the one who invited you on. Dang it, you're right, LB. I'm the worst, guys. Feel free to leave some dislikes down in. Feel free to dislike this video because I forgot to bring LB from the Lonely Banter on today when we actually had plans to do that. Man. I feel bad. I feel bad. Lonely lives don't matter, he says. I'm sorry, dude. We'll definitely get together and we'll maybe we'll talk tomorrow. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Moira Kitty says there was a vampire show in the early '90s that covered the subject of a vampire drinking blood from an AIDS victim. Apparently them human. Huh? All right. Yeah, I'll have to go and check that out. See if there's something about that. Fanjexture says I think it was pretty smart to show the last shot in the Morbius trailer. It definitely will draw people in who normally wouldn't care because it's not connected to the MCU. Yeah, certainly. I think it will. And for me, like, for me, I don't think everything has to be connected. It doesn't all have to be interconnected. Not all that does that. Even the MCU didn't really start out that way. Most of the films that they done, especially through the first the first and second phase, they weren't connected. They were only connected by Easter eggs that tied them all together, and the fact that they were all Avengers. That's really what most of that stuff was. So yeah, I'm not all about it has to be connected. Black Cat File says Iron Boy Jr. Yes, I'm not really into that. Pert Mind says Evan Peters is a beast, and yeah, definitely. I do like Evan Peters' portrayal of Quicksilver. Definitely very good. I did like that. Fanjection says I'm sorry, not your Spider-Man. Unsubscribing. Yeah, I'm not really big on the MCU Spider-Man, just because this is a different version of Spider-Man than from the comics, and I get it. The comics aren't the movies and all that stuff, but yeah, the MCU Spider-Man, like, they've got the feel of it, but you know what? For one, Peter Parker shouldn't be looking up to Tony Stark. Tony Stark is barely a hero. As a matter of fact, if you go back to, you can actually get here on YouTube and you can type in hashtag the Stark Sham and go watch a video that I did talking about Tony Stark in the MCU. He's a sham. He's really, all he does is, for one, he's barely a hero, but two, he just rides on the coattails of all of Arnim Zola's work. The only thing he really invented in the MCU was his Iron Man suit. Pretty much everything else was all thanks to Arnim Zola. Coffee Breath, how are you doing this morning? Aggressively Relaxing says, I'm with Fanjecture. Oh man, I love subscribers. No, don't leave me, please. A Dude Review says they've never gotten Spider-Man spot on yet in the movies. Love the emotive eyes on the MCU suit. Yes, definitely. Hopefully, as Tom Holland ages, he will grow into the role and be more like the comic book Spidey. I hope so. I would like to just see him make his own suit, for one, have his own web shooters and all that stuff. I realized that he eventually did get a suit from Stark and all that kind of stuff. I realized that, but can we just get like a more classic Peter Parker? That's all I want. That's all I want. I mean, and that's why I said, like, the character of Peter Parker in the MCU, aside from his love affair with Tony Stark, he's the Peter Parker from the comic books. Aside from his thing with aside from his thing with his obsession with Tony Stark, that's the Peter Parker from the comic books. Except for, we don't get Uncle Ben. We don't get the fact that Uncle Ben is the guy who pretty much instilled some of these values in him. With great power comes great responsibility. So we don't get that here. We don't really get any acknowledgement of Ben whatsoever. And that's something that Sony can actually do on their own in their own universe, since they own the rights to it. And I'm sure there's something that has to do with all that. But altogether, yeah, I mean, like, the suit is cool looking. I don't mind any of that, but again, I think he should be making his own suits. Black Cat File says the dude who played John Jameson in Spider-Man 2 was supposed to be Spider-Man, but Raimi preferred Tobey's goofy face. They look similar, but I guess Gillies didn't look goofy enough for Raimi. Yeah, maybe not. And I don't remember hearing that, but I know I do hear what you're saying there, and that's crazy too, because John Jameson, he's kind of a big character as well. Christy says, "Smash the like button" in Max's voice. Yes, definitely. Make sure you give this video a like, or you can give it a dislike if you like, because I'm not into the MCU Spidey. It's okay. I totally understand. Let's see what else here. Vlad Riot says dislike for LB. No, man, I love LB. I just forgot, man. I forgot. I'm the worst, man. I'm the worst. I'm gonna have to write that down. Aggressively Relaxing says I already unsubscribed because of the Spider-Man thing. Dang it. Come on, man. Don't cancel me because of Spider-Man. It's just not my Spider-Man. Pert Minded says hashtag 2nd Street Lonely. Captain Pennsylvania says connected, unconnected. Who cares? Just give me a good flick. Absolutely, 100%. According to Christy says Trinity, I loved Young Ripple's live stream yesterday. Yeah, definitely. His live streams are usually pretty good. Always have a good time there, interacting with people in the chat, and then just him too, man. He's sometimes he cracks me up, sometimes he gets me like, yeah, he's just dropping some knowledge here, dropping some truth. Aggressively Relaxing says rumor is Quicksilver is coming back for WandaVision. A leaked scene showed Wanda's kids talking about their uncle. Yeah, I seen that where one of the kids was I believe it was an audition for the movie as well. a dude of review says, "Yeah, Tony Stark making his suit didn't sit well with me. He's a DIY superhero." Absolutely, 100%. I mean, we've seen that he was developing his own web shooters and stuff like that. That's cool. But I think even I would even be happy if, like we've seen in Spider-Man Far From Home, where even at least Tony just gives him technology to help make his own suit. I'm okay with that, but I think Peter Parker should be the one putting in the work to do that. But yeah, that's just what I think. I'm there with you. Black Hat Cinephile says, in my opinion, Dan Gillies, the John Jameson actor, was exactly like comic book Peter, but they gave it to Toby. Yeah, could be. And I like Tobey Maguire too. I mean, I think he's a good actor as well. But again, these were still movies that kind of helped set the template for what we're getting in the Marvel Cinematic Universe today. So I'm definitely never going to fault Sam Raimi. I love Sam Raimi's work. I think most of his movies that I've ever seen, I really do enjoy. So yeah, he's a great actor, or a great director. But yeah, I mean, I get that some people don't like everything about really any of the Spider-Mans that have come out so far. But for me, I think the Spider-Man that was in the actual Spider-Man that was in the Raimi movies is more the Spider-Man, like in suit Spider-Man. He was definitely more of the classic Spider-Man, and I think the suit that was in. See, that's one of the things is the Amazing Spider-Man. The one thing they did 100% right was they nailed the Spider-Man costume. That costume is the best on-screen adaptation of a Spider-Man suit that we've had in any of the movies. That movie nailed it. The first one, the one from the first one, yeah, it was a little odd. It was a little different. But in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, that suit that he wore in that movie was spot on the Spider-Man suit from the comic books. Definitely. The only thing I didn't like about Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker was he was a little bit too emo. But he actually, he actually looked at the character part from some of the more current iterations of Spider-Man in the comic books as well. He kind of really looked a lot more like that. Um, but yeah, but I think Tom Holland has the right Peter Parker. They just need to get more of the Parker storyline in there to match that. Okay, so now one of the other things I wanted to talk about with with the Black Widow movie trailer that had come out. Like I said, I already mentioned that Natasha at the very beginning in that scene, she pulled out those things from her jacket and she had those little red glowy things in there that could really be anything. I think it has something to do with possibly keeping the Black Widow operatives, maybe under some sort of spell, whether that's mind control or just anything else like that. But we see that the Black Widow's operatives were wearing those same bands on their arms, and Natasha had some of those. But there's also this really great scene where we can see. I'm guessing that they are actually probably in Siberia, probably in Russia, where the Red Room is at. We've seen these some of these scenes in the first trailer where we've seen the Red Patriot and Taskmaster sitting there fighting inside of that facility. We seen a little bit more of that where Rachel Weisz was actually her character, Black Widow character, was actually fighting with somebody in that same facility. She jumps on top of him and flips him around just like Black Widow does. And we get a little bit of flash of those spots in the trailer. Let me see if I can. Here we go. Yeah, I think it's largely unimportant right now, but we see some of those spots in this trailer where they are there, and this looks like the facility where they are training these Black Widow operatives. Now the thing is we see her there fighting. She's in the white suit and everything, kicking butt, and then we see later something that we didn't see in the first trailer where Taskmaster and the Red Patriot are going at it, and where they're sitting there fighting, and on the ground we see that Taskmaster's shield is all busted up and broken, just like Captain America's was in Avengers Endgame. So some very interesting things going on here. We obviously know that Taskmaster. I mean, can Taskmaster win? No, I mean it's the good guys movie. The bad guys don't win. Only Thanos did that in Avengers Infinity War. But again, just some more interesting things going on here, and we do see that there are a number of Black Widow operatives out there, and I do think that these red glowy things have something to do with that. Something else I wanted to make note of in that same scene when they are there, actually, when they are there talking in the apartment, Natasha and Yelena, we can see that as they're there having their conversation, if you look down at the coffee table there, Yelena has a bunch of, probably like 3 or 4 bottles of some prescription pills there that are on the table. And it makes me wonder what those are for. Does it have something to do with, maybe she has problems with, like her memory and things like that? Is it something that she takes to help keep some of her training at bay and different stuff like that? Like, just different things. Because I think, just little things like that are clues to some of the stuff that we could be getting in this movie. Because largely there's just so much that goes on around Siberia, the Russians, and the Red Room, and all the training with all these Black Widow operatives. Just a whole lot of interesting things that we could go and speculate on. Now, the reason I say some of this stuff is because, and I've talked about this before about how Natasha, when back in Avengers Endgame, why Banner couldn't snap her back is possibly because she was not dead, right? Maybe Cap went back and changed something, as we seen, at the end of the movie, he went back and changed a whole lot of stuff. Maybe she wasn't dead, but maybe she was also reborn, because that's something that happened in the comics as of recent as well, where she was reborn in the Red Room as a clone with implanted memories. Which brings me back to something I was talking about earlier that I want to talk about is we obviously know we've seen set photos leak where we see that they are going to be in Madripoor. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know what Madripoor is, but Madripoor is kind of like, as far as the MC is concerned, you'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. Ooh, yes, I went there. Yes, I went there, and believe me, I hate when everybody has to go and make everything refer to Star Wars, but I just did it. But we see that there's Madripoor here in the Black Widow movie being referenced as well, which is interesting to me because there's in Madripoor you're either rich or you're dirt poor. There really is no in between. Like you're basically low on the totem pole, or you're high, or you are the totem pole. And the interesting thing here is recently in the comics, in that Saska Sisters version of Black Widow No Restraints play, Natasha actually went to Madripoor after she was reborn with these implanted memories. She had a thirst for blood, and she wanted to focus all that rage on the wrong people. And what was going on was these people actually they were doing this thing. I'm not sure if you guys ever seen the movie Nerve with Dave Franco. But it was pretty good. They had this online game where it was basically like Truth or Dare kind of, but more like Dare, where people would bid to get in this chat room and kind of control what these characters were doing through their mobile devices. And the mobile devices followed people around, and it was kind of like a reality TV show kind of thing. Well, No Restraints Play was exactly that. They had this website that people would go, and the highest bidder would be the director, and they would direct the person who was on camera to do these just heinous acts on women and children throughout this story. And it was a whole black net thing. It was pretty crazy stuff, and that's one thing I really did like about this. But basically, they were all involved in a lot of human trafficking and things like that. And while I don't think this movie is going to be that at all, I think they could be playing on some of that storyline, in the fact that we see there are a number of Black Widow agents and operatives. Maybe all of these girls that we've seen, being trained in the Red Room, that we've seen like in Avengers Age of Ultron, who are doing the ballet sequences and all that, all the ones we see here in the Red Room who are training, who are probably being controlled with those little red glowy bands that they have on their arms. Okay, maybe all of these girls and these women have been abducted and been part of a human trafficking ring, and that's where all of these operatives come from. It very well could be. I've also speculated that maybe Black Widow herself, or any of these other operatives, but I guess more so Natasha Romanoff, actually had something to do with that Khalid Kendil mission that was referenced in Captain America Winter Soldier, where Riley, Falcon's partner, ended up getting killed. And the thing is we didn't ever actually hear that Riley was killed. We just heard that he was lost, and maybe he was actually taken in and never found. Maybe Tony Masters is actually Riley. See how I did that there? And you never know, it could be, because we also know that, after the Black Widow movie comes out, one of the next things to come out is going to be the Falcon and Winter Soldier series, where we know that they are going to be introducing John Walker, U.S. Agent. If he's going to be U.S. Agent, maybe they're going to make some sort of play on that. Maybe he's the one that's actually going to come out and be Captain America. But not only that, maybe we get the revelation that Riley actually didn't die and actually survived, and maybe they took Riley to the Red Room, and maybe he actually became Taskmaster. I don't know. I could be wrong there. I could be wrong. Who knows? I'm just throwing theories out there. None of this is serious. But is it? Could it be? I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. And let's go ahead and get back here into the live chats. Let's see. Lonely Banter says, not even welcome on the first street, Pert Minded. Oh man. Aggressively Relaxed says Spider-Man famously really wanted to be an Avenger, and the comics teased it forever. Spider-Man looking up to Iron Man is classic Peter. No way. He looked up to his Uncle Ben, and that's what he did. He looked up to him. That was his hero. Captain Pennsylvania says, I want old ass Bill Murray as Spidey. That would be great. That would be great. Now I think Peter wanting to be in the Avengers. I mean, yeah, that's cool. But to me, him looking up to Iron Man as a hero, that's cool. But Tony Stark, nah, not at all. Tony Stark is a sham. I'm telling you. Hashtag the Stark sham. Go look it up here on YouTube. Go look it up. Hashtag the Stark sham. Rolliver Queen Reviews. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing good. He says, I gotta watch this new trailer. Oh, yeah, it was good, man. It was good. So was the Morbius trailer. The Morbius trailer was too. A Duda Review says, wonder who the main villain will be in the next Avengers movie. In the next Avengers movie. Probably the Skrulls. Could be. Yeah. Possibly. Oh, yeah. And even Rolliver agrees as well. Probably the Skrulls. Yeah. Because I've already said multiple times that I think the next Captain Marvel movie is going to be somewhat close to an Avengers movie. I think the next Captain Marvel movie is going to be Captain Marvel Civil War 2. I just have a feeling it just makes so much sense, especially with everything, all the buildup that we've had here, getting ready to go into that. I mean, we're getting ready to get Lady Thor, you know what I mean? We're getting ready to get Jane Foster Thor. We're getting ready to get, we've had everything else there leading up to that. I'm not sure if you read The Assault on Pleasant Hill, that's where Captain America, Steve Rogers, ended up getting his powers back and coming back. A lot of things that are revolving around that storyline, Avengers standoff, the Assault on Pleasant Hill. Everything that has to do with that has been built up in the MCU, and it also goes to make sense because Civil War 2 goes ahead and plays into Secret Empire, which kind of rebooted things in the Marvel universe. It really brought a lot of classic characters back to their classic form, where Marvel was going on this campaign, this Marvel Now, and all this stuff where they kind of where they started bringing in some of these other tokenized characters and things like that. So I think that Captain America or Captain Marvel Civil War 2 just seems to make sense to me. So, when I'm wrong about that, I'm sure you guys will beat me up in the comments. Aggressively Relaxing says, I really want Tom Hanks as Kang the Conqueror. That would be interesting. He's getting a little bit older now, but I could see him getting on the Marvel diet and everything, getting on the Marvel workouts and getting all buff and coming in to be Kang the Conqueror. That would be great. Of course, there's always speculation out there that Harley from Iron Man 3 could become Kang the Conqueror as well. Aggressively Relaxing says, making America's favorite nice guy the next big bad would be awesome. Making the America's favorite nice guy the next big bad would be awesome. Yes, definitely. Tom Hanks. Pert Minded says, the movie is going to be one big message for human trafficking. Yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, I think they may play a little bit on that storyline. I just really wish that we could get what happened in that comic book on the big screen, man. But it's too sensitive subject that I don't think Disney's even going to touch with a 10-foot pole. I'm Two Skills says, I think Black Widow will blow Wonder Woman out of the water. I think it could. Although I got to tell you, man, That Wonder Woman trailer for Wonder Woman 1984, that trailer, dude, every time I watch that, it just gets me more hyped to see that movie. I like Wonder Woman. I like the first Wonder Woman movie. And, you know, I'm not a big fan of Gal Gadot. She's a very beautiful woman. She's not a very talented actress, but working with Patty Jenkins plays to her strengths, and I think she's going to do a good job. And that trailer just looks great. And I can't imagine that the second trailer is going to top that. How could it, man? That trailer is so great. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just thinking about it, and just like, getting hyped, getting hyped. Aggressively relaxing says you should have had a dun 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 sound effects ready to go when you drop that Falcon's partner info. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Dun dun dun. I'm True Skill says I think Morbius will be another Venom. Yeah, it could be. It could be. Fanjexture says Tony's not a sham. You're a sham. You're a sham, and you're a sham, and everybody. Oh wait, I'm not Oprah. No, Tony Stark is. I mean, I'm telling you, everything that he's done in the MCU is all somebody else's work. It's all somebody else's technology that he's using. The only thing that he really invented was his Iron Man suit. Okay, okay, and he did the repulsor technology as well. He did the repulsor technology, but like his, the when he created that little element, he created that element. That was Arnim Zola. Arnim Zola did that clear back in the 1940s. That was all his stuff. And as a matter of fact, Arnim Zola actually even had blueprints for a robotic body. So we could get Arnim Zola back in the MCU as well, and also the whole AI thing, and stuff like that Tony Stark could be doing to live on. I mean Arnim Zola already done it. I'm telling you everything. Arnim Zola, if you can think of something out there that Tony Stark has done, Arnim Zola already done it. Pert Minded says, True Skills, relax. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Black Widow looks like an average MCU movie. It does. I mean, it looks like one of the better ones. I like it because like it's playing on that whole spy espionage thing. I like that. Captain Pennsylvania says Wonder Woman was suspect to me. Really boring. Oh, really? Like I like the Wonder Woman. I mean, there are things about it. The first one that could definitely be improved. But altogether, I liked it. One thing that I do like that the DCEU was not afraid to do was experiment with their bad guys and bring us in full CGI bad guys and all that kinds of stuff, kind of larger than life kind of stuff. I like that they played on that and weren't afraid to do that, where we see that for the most part, all the bad guys in the MCU are realistic, like human characters, aside from like Ultron. You know what I mean? There's not really a whole bunch of bad guys that are like they've had in some of the DCU films. Aggressively Relaxing says the average MCU film blows everything else out of the water on the regular. For the most part, yeah. I'm True Skills says I went on a stream yesterday and I was. You was what, man? You was what? I do. What live stream was it, man? Let me drop that down in the comments below. Let me know what live stream that was on. Someone accused me of being in a great order. What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean there, man. Pert Minded says Wonder Woman 84 looks more original than this Black Widow movie. It looks nothing. It looks like nothing new, to be honest, but still hoping it will be an entertaining movie. I just think it will be a generic MCU film. I actually don't. I think we're gonna get a whole lot of revelation, not only about the Red Room and Black Widow and her character, but we're gonna learn a lot more about some of the other things that have been going on. Like I'm telling you, man, that Khalid Kandil mission. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody else is talking about the Khalid Kandil mission. And I'm telling you, I am. I'm talking about that damn Khalid Kandil mission in which Falcon went in there to rescue whoever it was, and he lost his buddy Riley. I'm talking about that. But not only that, at the same time, probably not too soon from there. I want to say it would have been a little bit before 2008. Black Widow herself was actually in the Middle East as well, trying to bring somebody out of a war zone, and that's when she ended up getting shot through the hip, and no more bikinis. She said the same thing in the same Captain America Winter Soldier movie. So she had those run-ins with him, but who was that person that she was trying to get out of there? Who was it for, and what for? Elvis Dutan, thank you so much for being here, says, I also think that the Morbius will be another Venom. Damn goofy, silly fun. I hope so. I mean, it looks like it's going to be pretty good. Peyton Place, thank you so much for being here. She says, "Dude, I love your background. I just wanted to say hi and thank you for stopping by my live last night." Yeah, no, it was a pretty good live. I hadn't. I don't think I think I've only watched a couple of your videos before that, and yeah, it was a pretty good live stream that you had yesterday. And thank you for stopping by. Captain Pennsylvania says, "Not new at all, but I think it'll be good." Okay, we jumped again here. For the love of movies, hello, how are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. A dude who review says he didn't have the accent in the trailer. Perp. Oh, Morbius was never interesting to me, even when he was in the Amazing Spider-Man series. But I wonder if Jared Leto's going to have the accent. Yeah, I don't know. Elvis Dutan says same perp. He was lame in the cartoons, but the trailer had some zany stuff in it outside of Morbius that has me interested. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Aggressively Relaxing says, I hope you told them you were a member of my Star Wars fan group. Jedi always carry khaki outfits forever, friends. Yes, if you guys aren't part of the Star Wars fan group, Jedis always carry khaki outfits forever, friends, you need to go join it. You forgot the work gloves, too. Khaki outfits and work gloves. Captain Pennsylvania says, Morbius wasn't a great character in the comics, but I'm hyped about the movie. Yeah, it looks good. Fan Jexter says, Tony Bang Pepper Potts. Did Arnim Zola do that? No comment. No comment. He might have. That's funny. Elvis Dutan says, I'm only worried about this whole MCU connection for Morbius. Not a fan of Far From Home. Bottom tier for me, and I was hoping it would be separate. I think it will be separate. I don't think they're. I don't know that they're going to cross Morbius over into the MCU. I doubt it, but who knows. Sir Nerdalot says a big fan of David Harbour. Interesting in learning more about the Red Guardian. Definitely, definitely. Metaphorical says the Morbius is going to be sexy. Yes, Morbius is going to be sexy for sure. According to Christy says, have you seen The Witcher? I have not. I will probably eventually watch that, but I just don't really watch many TV shows. I'm not really into the format and all that stuff. Obviously, I'm going to make exception. I did make an exception for The Mandalorian and definitely the MCU shows, but I'm not really into the whole episodic thing. Just give me a movie, man. I just want a movie. But I'll probably watch it eventually at some point because I've heard a lot of great things about it. A Dude Who Reviews says, Blade is probably the MCU movie I'm most hyped for. Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't wait to see Blade. That will be a good one. And again, I'm not big into like the vampire stuff and zombie stuff, but I'm sure they'll do a good job with that. And they need to, because really those Wesley Snipes Blade movies, they hold up. They really do. I don't care what anybody says. They hold up. I Am True Skill says, I went into a Phantom Menace stream yesterday and they said I was in a gray order. Oh, that's all good. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't see what the big deal is. That doesn't mean anything. It's all good. Cousin Angel Yonker said, I'm going to give Morbius a chance. I hated the Venom movie, but I get why people love it. Now, I don't love it. I think it was a good movie, but Morbius, yeah, I'm going to give it a chance. It looks like a good movie. Metaphorical says, I was here this morning. I was here this morning too. Nice. Thank you so much for being here, Metaphorical. AFK Bard says, hey man, I'm late again. It's all good, man. It's all good. We start here every morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which today I actually started a little bit late. Started about 10 after, so I try. Wildebeard Reviews, thank you so much for being here. Says, Morbius has my curiosity, now it has my attention. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it had my curiosity and now has my attention. And Wildebeard Reviews, guys, if you guys like comic books, you want somebody that knows what they're talking about, me, because I'm just like Tony Stark. I'm a sham too. Make sure you go check out Franklin over at Wildebeard Reviews. He does review a lot of comic books and things like that. And if you like X-Men and you want to know your X-Men lore, he knows his shit. I'm telling you. Wildebeard Reviews is definitely, he loves his mutants, he loves his X-Men, and if you got some questions about that, Wildebeard Reviews is definitely a good source for that, so make sure you go check out his channel. And thank you so much for being here again, Wildebeard Reviews. Tom's Comic Book and Reviews, thank you so much for being here as well. According to Christy says, I am True Skills. Ugh, I don't like when that is done. Folks need to realize we can always be nerds. Yes, indeed. AFK Bart says, at Vlad Riot, I should probably take my keyboard with me next time. I must have missed something there, but that's funny. Cousin Angel of Yonkers says, I still think Venom should have been like Werewolf in London with Venom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be good. I could see that. I could see that. Minus the werewolf, yeah. I didn't know what Morbius is, says AFK Bard. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't. I mean, he's a pretty popular character, but not one of those big characters like a Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Spider-Man is like he's one of the A level characters from Marvel. Aggressively relaxing says, now that Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie has been turned, the Halle Berry has turned the Halle Berry Catwoman franchise around. What character would you like to see next in that continuity? As far as to me, I mean Riddler. Riddler's badass. I love Riddler. I think he would be great. And you know what? Honestly, Jim Carrey could still come in and play Riddler, and I'd be happy with it. But I really did like the old '50s, was it '50s '60s show where Frank Gorshin in there playing Riddler. He was so good at it. He was just really good at that. Work calls, everyone. Peace. Later, Captain Pennsylvania. Thank you so much for being here. Rollover Queen says, you think the MCU Blade is keeping the R rating? I doubt it. I doubt the MCU is going to do anything R rated. I think they may do things outside of the MCU and maybe tie it in to be R rated. Like apparently we've heard that they're going to keep Deadpool R-rated. I'll believe it when I see it. But I also think that they could go PG-13 and just do a bunch of clever edits. Now, it wouldn't necessarily work for a Deadpool movie, but I think it could for a lot of movies where you do clever edits, much like they did in the Austin Powers movies, because they got really crude with a lot of the humor and things going on in those movies with clever edits and things like that. So I think it's definitely possible. Now, when it comes to anything else, one thing I think they can't do in the MCU, Frank Castle. I don't think they can do Punisher in the MCU because it's just too violent, too much gun violence and those kinds of things like that. And I don't think Disney wants to push that in any of their movies. So I'm interested to see if they're ever going to do that. I honestly don't think they can. Like you can get away with it with some Deadpool. I don't think you can with Frank Castle. I just think it's going to be nearly impossible for them to do Frank Castle some justice. Pert Minded says, Rolliver, if they were smart, they would, but it doesn't look likely. Definitely. I think they would be smart to do that, but yeah, it's hard to say. They kind of water everything down. Wildebeard Review says, "Oh man, dude," he says, "Don't talk me up that much." No, you are, dude. Like I'm telling you, I know you. I know you love your X-Men and your mutants, man. That's why I go watch a lot of your videos too. I'm like, ooh, like he knows his stuff a lot more than me for sure when it comes to the mutants and stuff. But no, man, you do definitely do some great reviews. And whenever you get a chance, man, one of these days we need to do a live stream together, Franklin. We need to, man. That'd be great. Um, let's see. Tom's Comic Book Review says 100 subscribers. Awesome. Good deal. Oh, you know what? And speaking of which, guys, Rolliver Queen Reviews here. You guys should go check out his channel. He definitely likes anime and definitely likes his comic books as well. So you guys may want to go check out his channel. And he's, I believe I was watching his live stream the other day. He's part of a group of guys who does a podcast, but he started doing some of his own content over there. Doesn't have a whole lot of subscribers, so make sure you go check him out, man. Make sure you go check him out. I wonder how they are going to link Venom with the MCU, says I Am True Skills. I don't think that they are. I think Sony's just playing ball for what they can for right now. Rolliver says, yeah, I worry that they're only going to keep Deadpool as R. Yeah, I think so, but they could certainly do more. I mean, they could do a R-rated universe. I don't see any problem with that. But I can't see a PG-13 Blade. Yeah, I think it's kind of the same thing where he uses a lot of guns and his katanas and everything. I think it's kind of the same thing where there's just like a lot of blood and guts and violence in there. I mean, you could do a lot of simulated kind of stuff, stuff that happens off camera. But if you go look at what they did in Avengers Endgame with Ronan, I remember watching that. I'm kind of like, this is really pushing the envelope a little bit as far as violence and things like that on screen. Elvis Dutan says, I'm worried they're actually gonna make Deadpool 3 instead of X-Force. I'm sure they will, and I don't see any problem there. X-Force, I would imagine they wait until they introduce more characters in the MCU for that. Let's see. Black Hat Cinephile says Volstagg Punisher blew a dude's head off. Really realistically. All right, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that's the thing is like the Punisher, like it's just he just seems too brutal for to be in the MCU. Too much, just too much gun violence. AFK Bart says if Disney rolls out a Deadpool 3, what are the chances we'll get a Spider-Man cameo where he complains about Deadpool's outfit? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that. Um, Rolliver Queen says thank you. Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. Yeah, Rolliver Queens is definitely got some good stuff going on over there. Perp Minded says Rolliver is a real one. Salute to you, Trinity, for putting me onto his channel. Yeah, certainly, Perp. Yeah, because I was gonna say I know both of you dudes definitely like some anime stuff, and I can't wait to see. Maybe you guys are gonna do a stream together one of these days. Hopefully. For the love of movies says, does anyone like Dirty Harry? I love Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry are some great movies, and man, I know one of these days. Wait for it, people. One of these days, we're gonna get a reboot of Dirty Harry out there, and that'd be pretty great. And honestly, um, honestly, God, why all of a sudden did I forget his name? He could, Clint Eastwood could still be in that. He could still be in that. Justice League says, "I love Frank Castle, absolutely." And me, I actually do like Frank. Uh, what's his name's version of Frank Castle? Man, why all of a sudden did I forget? I'm forgetting names this morning. Thomas Jane. I liked his version of Frank Castle. Cousin Angel of Bianca says, Wildebeard reviews. I gotta check him out if he likes X-Men. Oh yeah, yeah, he's a great reviewer. And man, I'm telling you, you go watch his videos, you'll see he loves his X-Men. Man, he does. And he's also big on a lot of DC. He certainly covers a lot more DC stuff than I do. I'm True Skills says, can't wait. Disney just have a Marvel Knights section for movies like Punisher and Deadpool. Yes, definitely. That would absolutely be cool. But anyway, guys, we've gone quite a bit over an hour here. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel. If you're not already, please make sure you subscribe, click the little bell, and all of that good stuff. I do greatly appreciate all of you being here today. Now, as I said, there are some links down in the description where you can go and become a monthly Patreon supporter. You can become a Patreon for as little as $1 a month and help support these live streams. All these live streams are being brought to you by my Patreon supporters. So make sure that you go and check that stuff out. Here is a list of all my awesome Patreon supporters that there are. Again, I want to say thank you to all of the Patreon supporters for supporting me and the content here on the channel. Again, those links are down in the description where you can go and learn a little bit more about that. Or you can even send direct donations via Streamlabs, or of course, I am now monetized and you can even send in super chats. And thank you guys all so much for supporting the channel in that way. If it wasn't for you guys, the viewers who are here watching my live streams, if it wasn't for you guys, I mean, you guys are what make these live streams. You're what make them fun to do. You're who make the interaction a lot funner, not only with me, but with each other, because you guys bring a lot of interesting things to talk about when doing these live streams. But that's all I have for this video today, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Second Street Marvel. If you're not already, like I said, please make sure you subscribe, click the little bell, all of that good stuff that we all need reminders to do every now and again. And we'll see you all in the next video. Don't forget, tomorrow is New Comic Book Wednesday, so get out to your local comic book shop and support them. Later. Oh, you know what else, guys? I forgot. Tonight is the Dark Council over on Drunk 3PO's channel. Make sure that you go to Drunk 3PO's channel and turn on your notifications, because that should be going live at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're out on the East Coast. Make sure you turn in for that as the Dark Council comes together. And we're probably going to end up talking about the Morbius trailer, the Black Widow trailer, and just all of these different things. Always a good time to get together with my brothers from the Dark Council. So make sure that you guys get on there and check out that live stream tonight. It's always a good time getting together with the guys from the Dark Council. You all have a good day. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.